my distinguished friend from bar days, Ashok Arora, and Sushma Ramchandran, Vinay, respected Mr. Venkat Chalaya, Subhas Kashyap ji, Mr. Qureshi, Dr. Karan Singh ji, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, a caveat. I see a lot of excited, curious journalist eyes looking at me. The Law Minister is present in the august company of a distinguished chief, one of the most outstanding chief justices of India, Shri Venkat Chalaya. Something newsworthy is coming. I'm sorry it is not coming. Be very clear about it. I have been invited to speak on a topic of seminal importance. Article 51A, Fundamental Duties, a reference to judicial and economic reform. It is a very wide ambit. Let me briefly make some general observations. It is now 70 years that we have been independent. And it is nearly 68 years, to be precise, 67 years, that our constitution has governed our destiny. As Venkat Chalaya was just mentioning about the prophets of doom when India became free. 70 years down the line, what are the basic roadmaps of India? It is a confident country. It is a united country. It is one country. Number two, people who said Indians illiterate are not fit for democracy. Our Indians have shown profound maturity in handling the democratic process. And today, they know that they can change any government at the center of the state to their popular franchise. How big the party is, how big the leader is. This has brought about a great sanity in the polity of the country. And as I've always stated sometimes also, that I had the privilege to see the evolution of India in the last nearly 40 years. When I became an activist under the baptism of Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan, fighting the Bihar movement with him, going to jail, fighting the emergency. Now in 17 years as the Member of Parliament, Minister earlier, Minister now, knowing the law and constitution of India, and I have been working on behalf of my party in 8 states of India. Therefore, the political process evolution I have seen. Second, after the disastrous experience of Indira Gandhi, no leader, howsoever popular, will dare impose emergency in India. Nor there shall be any military coup in India. Next, fundamental rights, including of speech and the media, are sacrosanct, subject to reasonable restrictions which are outlined in the Constitution. Independence of judiciary is sacrosanct, including they are having the power to annul laws or decisions of the government. And being an activist lawyer myself, in exposing a series of corruption, which Sushma and Vinay knows and many of the journalists know here, some kind of accountability on political malpractices has also emerged with judicial intervention over the years. That is also a very positive feature for our democracy. Talking about fundamental duty, core India's political culture. The first fundamental duty is to respect the ideals of our freedom movement, ensure unity and integrity of India. Kindly see in practice how Indians are following these great ideals. Many of the senior journalists and Justice Venkat Chalaya present here would recall, Dr. Karan Singh also, that some political parties had their political ideals to alienate away from India for legitimate reasons which they thought is justified. Once they came to power, they never thought of break away from India, because the popular mandate brought upon them a political maturity that now we have to discharge once people have trusted their destiny in our hands. I remember when I was the INB minister in the Bajpayee government, I went to Northeast, and then a young chief minister asked me for a lunch. He was a former extremist. I asked him, how are you appreciating your role? I'm enjoying it thoroughly. What I couldn't do as an extremist, now I'm doing as a chief minister. And the destiny of the people is in my hand. I always say, democracy brings in a very humbling experience. For me, the biggest day of Indian democracy was when a known Khalistani leader who never believed in the constitution took his oath under the constitution when he was filing his nomination and took his oath under the constitution when he was elected. And he never objected. These are great recognition of the values of the constitution which are there in duties which the people are imbibing among themselves in the natural process of independent India. That we rarely notice. An author has given a very vivid description. If we see India into a big map and segregate it, then we have got Red India where Maoist violence is there, killing is there. We have the Blue India where a lot of tension and other uncertainties are there. But the White India, the peaceful India, is still the largest block in the block of India. That, I think, is the biggest assurance which we need to understand. I talked of election. Mr. Qureshi is sitting here, and I need to compliment all the chief election commissioners and Mr. Kashyap, whom I very personally respect, a great authority on our constitution, has been talking about elections for a long time in his writings. I come from Bihar, and on the election day, we used to count how many people have been killed. You know it very well. In many other states of India too. How the election commission with the same machinery could change the entire culture of violence on the election day is a great tribute to Indian democracy and the inner strength of the same bureaucracy which can deliver. You will see remarkable things. I remember a particular party in South India gave color TV, big gift, cable connectivity, because people in that state are TV savvy. They got the color TV, they saw the corruption of that party on television and voted that party lock, stock and barrel. That is also in India we are experiencing. What is the third positive thing I notice? A profound unity and integrity of India is emerging among Indians by its own logical force. Whenever there is an attack on India, how Indians transcend conservative barriers of region, of caste and communities. We need to acknowledge that. No one teaches them India is under attack, you need to. I think the biggest example I saw on television when the terrorists in the 9/11 in Taj Hotel were killed, and when the National Security Guards came, thousands of people started rendering Bharat Mata ki Jai. No one asked them to, because that is what they thought is their duty. I know there are problems, and all of you know the problems, but today I am only trying to highlight how the positive India is emerging. On economic reforms, I will not speak much, but very briefly. In India, a big debate has gone for a long time as to how bread shall be distributed. इस मुल्क की सियासत में रोटी कैसे बांटी जाए, ये बहुत अहमियत से चर्चा हुई है, लेकिन रोटी की संख्या कैसे बढ़े, इसकी चर्चा कम हुई है। अगर रोटी कम होगी तो बांटने में कठिनाई होगी, रोटी ज्यादा होगी तो आराम से बटेगी। When I became an MP in the year 2000 for the first time, I could give 100 phones from my discretionary quota. First year there was a big load. Now no one asked for it. I can give 200 or 100 gas connections. In the first 2-3 years, there was a big pressure. Now, no one asked for it. The biggest pressure on me to give a recommendation was centered in school, because people quest for good schools. My fundamental issue, Sushma, is because you have been writing a lot on economic issues. Growth without equity is possible. It will be lopsided, it will be pro-rich, it will be pro-elite. But for genuine equity to come, growth is important. That is very fundamental. And as Mr. Venkat Chalaya, for whom I have great personal regard, rightly pointed out, you need resources to create schools. I will not push a lot of debate on demonetization. All of you are entitled to give guidance to us. But let me give you certain brief statistics today. A population of 125 crore plus, only 3.7 crore people pay tax. 99 lakh people file their return but don't share any taxable income. 2.7 crore people have taxable income. Out of that, nearly 2 crore people show their income as 5 lakh and less. And only 24 lakh people show their income as 10 lakh and above. Are we not an under-taxed country? You travel to Delhi, to NCR, and count the buildings, they will cross 24 lakh in this area itself. How can a country survive like that? The second question which I have to ask, I ask myself and I'm sharing with you here. Do we need an Indian army well equipped with all the best weapons and training or not? But you need money for that. This Venkat Chalaya talked about the case of his grandson. I will share my experience as an IT minister, how India is transforming a little later. But do you need to give funds to young Indian minds for the best research to create the best patent? All the Indians' minds are working for foreign companies, multinationals, who own the patent over their mind and their research. For that you need money. All of you are talking of healthcare and education, right? But to create the best infrastructure, you need money. Otherwise, leave them to private enterprise with all the capitals which they demand. All this can happen only because today, in the kitty of the finance minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley, there is a kitty of hardly 4,70,000 crore for development. The rest are all standard part of the budget which you have to. Or mainly 5 lakh crores and all. How can you develop India like this? Therefore, you need to enlarge taxable kitty of India. I can only tell you because data has come to us, we examine things. Terrorism is down, Hawala is down, Supari killing is down. But the most assuring part which impressed me was when I saw the report of Resurgent India, that even the human trafficking in sex slave is down in India. Because they pick up young girls from Nepal, Bangladesh, Jharkhand, Northeast, and November is the time to distribute them on the various quotas of India. And all the transaction is 500 and 1,000 to the middleman. And that is badly hit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, every government comes and goes. But I wish to tell you without any degree of arrogance that Mr. Narendra Modi's government is seeking to transform India, which you always tell us. It's a transformative government. Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, Stand-up India. Sir, you are talking about technological tools of India. India today is home to 104 crore mobile phones, 110 crore Aadhaar, 50 crore internet. we just linked up Jandhan account poor with the Aadhaar and the mobile phone. And we said all the subsidies will go directly to the bank account. We saved 36,000 crores, which were pilfered by middlemen and fictitious persons. And just Venkatachalaya, how technology is ensuring good governance, because good governance is also a part of the fundamental duty to help that. I heard the latest report from Maharashtra, where the government gives a grant for the entire tribal education, tribal boys, school, teachers, hostel facility. We brought them on Aadhaar. Two schools have very interesting experience. This is Venkatachalaya. The number of students went down by 40%. We said, count it again. Then again they said, count it again. The fourth time, they said, sir, kya kare? Yahi number hai. Baaki to sirf kagaj karo. This is how digital governance is transparent governance. Digital delivery is faster delivery. And a lot of questions are asked. इस देश में लोग गरीब हैं, पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं, कैसे बदलाव होगा? Indians who are empowered by technology are never having any inferiority complex. And let me tell you, in spite my entire political experience is on the one side, and the sheer power of confidence which I am observing in India's powered by technology and digital connect is extraordinary. They are having a new vision of hope. And I will give you just two examples. Prime Minister had gone to London, and while speaking to Indians there, he talked of one Imran Khan of Alwar who are changing India. I was then handling that telecom portfolio also. So I asked my BSNL chief to send the manager of Alwar to Mr. Imran Khan and give a bouquet to him and let him talk to me. So 9 o'clock the phone came, ki, sir, my manager is waiting with a bouquet there. I talked to him in Hindi and I am going to reproduce it. I hope all of you follow it. I said, Imran Khan साहब आपको मालूम है PM ने आपका नाम कल वेम्बले स्टेडियम में लिया था. कहा जी जनाब मैं तो सो गया था, मेरे पड़ोसियों ने जगाया मुझे कि PM तुम्हारी तारीफ कर रहे हैं. मैं क्या करते हैं आप? कहा मैं अलवर संस्कृत महाविद्यालय में गणित का शिक्षक हूँ. और क्या करता? कहा मैं एप्स बनाता हूँ. किसके लिए? कहा स्कूल के बच्चों के लिए, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, कैलकुलस, मैथमेटिक्स. कितने बच्चे यूज करते हैं? 40 लाख बच्चे यूज करते हैं. आई आस्क्ड हिम, कहीं IT से पढ़ा? कहा नहीं, हमारे भाई साहब कुछ किताबें छोड़ गए थे, उसी से पढ़ करके. कैन यू बिलीव इन a remote small township of Alwar, a non-IT trained teacher is creating apps being used by 40 lakh students. That is the new India emerging. They are countless. And the second is more moving and phenomenal. Satamma Devi of Telangana became digitally literate. I tweeted to congratulate her. She became a celebrity. And the minister has congratulated. The TV channels went to her. She became more famous. Then I talked to her. She didn't know Hindi or English either. Then I talked to her through an interpreter. She was very happy. She was Bidi Majdoor and illiterate. I asked him how you chose to become digitally literate. And the reply which she gave, this is Venkatachalaya, is the new India you were talking about. She said, my son is a plumber in Dubai and I was missing my grandson. Some of the friends said, if you want to talk to your grandson and see his face, learn to operate a Skype. And to operate a Skype, I became computer literate and digital literate. And now I talk to my grandson every day, or at least twice in a day. Can you believe how India is changing? This is Bayanti Devi of Bihar, a Dalit social. Tortured by in the family, she became computer literate, she ran in common service centers. I visited her in the recent Digital India fair in Pragati Maidan. I said, hang their photograph big, mine is small, because they are the change agents of India. It is a very new India emerging, ladies and gentlemen. I want to tell you, believe in this India. This India really wants to catch the move. And the way Aadhaar is coming, and just now we are going to start the Aadhaar animal payment, just you press your thumb and the payment will be done. are game-changing exercises. They are bringing a lot of equality, because a smartphone in the hand becomes a tool of empowerment and gives a new confidence. Therefore, I am very hopeful that this change in India is going to be a remarkable change. Lastly, on the issue of judicial reform, and that I'll conclude and seek your indulgence to leave. Our commitment to the independence of judiciary, Ashok, is complete and total. I had said once in the presence of Shri Venkatacharya also. Just Sushma talked about our activism in the emergency. This government is led by the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, Rajnath Singh, Sushma Swaraj, Arun Jaitley, Venkaiah Naidu, Ravi Shankar Prasad. Some for 5 years senior, some for 5 years junior. All of us were student activists who fought against emergency and suffered. And in emergency, we fought for 3 freedoms: individual freedom, media freedom, and judicial freedom. Therefore, this government, Sushma, is led by leaders who have fought for the independence of judiciary and also for the media and also for the individual freedom. Our commitment is complete. There are issues of infrastructure, there are issues of appointment, but surely, as I said earlier, you may have read about it, we have made 126 appointments, the highest since 1990. For high courts, about 131 additional judges have been confirmed. And I can only tell you now that with the very inspiring leadership of Justice Kher as the new Chief Justice, we'll be able to work together in a very meaningful way to address the concerns in the judiciary, to expedite appointments, to ensure people of merit are appointed, and also overall reinforce the infrastructure needed for justice delivery. We're doing a lot of work from e-court. Justice Venkatacharya, I wish to inform you that we are very keen to make India a hub of good arbitration. And I have constituted a committee of some of the finest minds in the field of arbitration. Justice Sri Krishna as the head, and Justice Ravindran, all of have international arbitration exposure. Mr. Venu Gopal, Ravindra Bhatt, Indu Malhotra, Mr. Narasimha, to give me a focused report in 3 months as to what specific steps are needed to make India an ideal destination for arbitration. So we are doing all that. Alternative dispute redressal mechanism is also doing. So we'll be able to work it. In terms of fundamental duties, ladies and gentlemen, let us understand, justice delivery is integral to good governance. That is how I feel, and that is how we feel. Therefore, justice delivery has to be faster, has to be expeditious, and also to be delivered in a spirit of integrity and accountability. That is how we see it. 2 ways of looking at India, and this is very important in the context of fundamental liberty. Today is the birthday of Vivekananda, and this Venkatacharya, you will recall that. Subhashi, you will all the more. When our constitution was framed, I would request all of you sitting here to have a look on the original constitution. A debate arose, should we present it like this, or let us give something more into it to show to the world that India has arrived. And Nandlal Bose, the famous painter from Bengal, was commissioned by Nehruji, Sardar Patel, Maulana Azad, and Dr. Ambedkar to give his sketches. And he has given a lot of sketches. The first is obviously the Vedic tradition of India. Then on fundamental right, there is Lord Ram returning to Ayodhya from Sri Lanka with his family. On the directive principle is Lord Krishna giving Gita Upadesh in Mahabharata. Then there is Akbar, Guru Gobind Singh, Shivaji, Rani Jhansi, Vivekananda, Kabir, Mahatma Gandhi. This question troubles me, sir, if I ask you this, and Dr. Karan Singh ji. If constitution is to be framed today, And if the Constituent Assembly unanimously resolves that we will have pictures of those in the Constitution, what will happen? We'll have to reflect where we have come about. India is a democracy not because democracy is a form mentioned in the Constitution. India is a democracy because the cultural, civilizational heritage of India also sanctions democracy, debate, discussion, differences. That is what is the essence of democracy. Therefore, there are two ways of looking at India. Either to say the same thing which we have been saying for the last 70 years, and Ashok, I seek your permission to say it in Hindi. इस मुल्क में कुछ नहीं हो सकता, बहुत गरीबी है, बहुत भ्रष्टाचार है. That is there. That is one way of looking at it. And if I say in lighter vein, खुद भी बोर हो और दूसरे को भी बोर करो. And the other view is, an India of hope, aspiration and confidence is rising. Identify those threats, reinforce their self-confidence, and a new India, a confident India, an emerging power, an honest power is waiting to happen. And that's what we are doing. In that larger vision, I seek the cooperation of all of you.